The distress beacon pierced through the blizzard like a dying star's last gasp. Commander Varric of the Zathari Warfleet had seen countless battlefields across 3 sectors, but nothing had prepared him for what awaited on the frozen moon of Perihelion 7. His scout ship descended through sheets of white that swallowed the world whole. The battlefield below was a graveyard, twisted metal and scorched earth where the human colony ship Morning Light had crash-landed 6 days prior. Intel suggested no survivors. The Zathari had learned long ago that humans were fragile creatures, their bodies breaking easily under extreme conditions that his kind could endure. Yet the beacon continued its rhythmic pulse. Varric's thermal sensors picked up a signature near the wreckage's northern edge, barely distinguishable from the frozen ground. He landed his craft with precision, the hydraulics hissing as the boarding ramp extended into knee-deep snow. The wind shrieked with a voice that reminded him of death itself. The trail was unmistakable once he found it, a crimson path through pristine white, leading away from the main crash site toward a rocky outcropping half a kilometer distant. Varric followed it, his quad-jointed legs carrying him steadily through drifts that would have swallowed a human whole. The blood had frozen in places, creating grotesque sculptures of suffering. She was there, at the end of the trail. Rhea Solon, according to the manifests he'd reviewed, had been a civilian engineer aboard the Morning Light. Now she lay curled against the stone, her body a shield around 2 emergency pods that glowed with faint green life support indicators. The snow around her was stained deep red, and her skin had taken on the blue-gray pallor of the truly frozen. Varric's medical scanner told him what his eyes already knew. She was dead, had been for perhaps 12 hours. Yet the cub snow, the human young ones, they called them children, were alive. Barely, but alive. He knelt, his forearms moving with practiced efficiency to check the pods. 2 infants, neither more than a standard cycle old, lay sleeping in induced stasis. The pods were crude, clearly jury-rigged from escape capsule components. They would have failed within another 6 hours. Varric's secondary eyes tracked back to the dead woman. The trail told a story his warrior's mind pieced together with grim clarity. The crash had occurred in the southern valley. The medical bay, where these emergency pods would have been stored, was at the ship's fore. She had somehow survived the initial impact with severe injuries, found these children in the chaos, modified the pods to keep them alive, then crawled nearly a kilometer through sub-zero temperatures while bleeding from multiple wounds. His scanner indicated she'd had broken ribs, a punctured lung, a fractured femur, and lacerations across 70% of her body. She had crawled through that for 6 days, dragging 2 children who weren't even hers according to the manifest. Varric had fought the humans in the border wars. He'd seen their soldiers die bravely, seen their ships ram his fleet rather than surrender. But this was something different. This wasn't the fire of combat or the rush of adrenaline. This was pure, calculated suffering endured with purpose. The Zathari prided themselves on strength. Their warriors could fight for days without rest, endure wounds that would kill lesser species 3 times over. But they fought for glory, for the honor of their clans. They died knowing songs would be sung of their deeds. This human had died alone, in silence, knowing no one would ever witness her struggle. And she had done it anyway. Varric carefully lifted the pods, cradling them against his thorax where his body heat would keep them stable. As he turned back toward his ship, he paused, looking once more at Rhea Solon. The wind had already begun to cover her with fresh snow, as if the moon itself sought to give her a burial. In Zathari culture, warriors who displayed exceptional courage were granted the marking of the Eternal, their names inscribed in the fleet's Hall of Valor. It was the highest honor his people could bestow. Only Zathari had ever received it. Until now. Varric activated his comm. "This is Commander Varric to Fleet Admiral Vexner. I've recovered 2 survivors, human juveniles, condition stable. Requesting immediate medical transport." A pause. "Understood, Commander." "And the adult signature your sensors detected?" Varric looked at the mound of snow that had been Rhea Solon. "Deceased. But I'm also requesting formal honors for a fallen warrior, human civilian designation." She held the line when no soldier could have. Her name was Rhea Solon, and she deserves to be remembered. The silence stretched longer this time. The Zithari Empire had never honored a human. Had never honored any alien species? Explain, Commander. So he did. As the wind howled and the snow fell, Varek told them what she had done. When he finished, the silence was different, heavy with understanding. Request approved, Admiral Dexner said finally. Retrieve her remains with the juveniles. The Council will want to verify your report, but if what you say is accurate, Ria Solon will be the first human name carved in our hall. Perhaps it's time we understood that strength wears many faces. Varric carefully lifted the frozen body, cradling her with the same reverence he would show a fallen fleet commander. The two children continued sleeping, unaware that they lived because someone had loved them more than life itself. As his ship rose through the blizzard, Varek made a private vow. When these children were old enough to understand, he would tell them the truth. That humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or their ships or their stubborn refusal to surrender. It was this: the ability to crawl through blood and snow, to endure the unendurable, not for glory or honor or survival, but simply because someone needed them to. The Zithari had conquered a dozen worlds. But in that moment, flying through a frozen hell with two sleeping infants and their silent guardian, Commander Varek understood they had never truly understood the species they'd fought. Now, perhaps they would begin to.